Hey, good morning, guys. Up and Adam. That's right. It's Monday, the 20th of July. So, just to recap yesterday, because the boys didn't play baseball on Saturday, but they had the championship. It was what do you call it? Where all the top teams come and compete against each other, and then ultimately you just keep playing as long as you're winning. Well, my grandson's team ended up taking first place yesterday. Gosh, it was almost 6:30 by the time they got done. And they started at 8 o'clock that morning. Pretty good for them boys to play all day long. But that was the highlight. I went over there and watched his game. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, how do you go about learning how to diagnose? And I'm reading through the comments and I'm saying I tried this and this and this and this, but still not working. What should I do next? Well, you're fixing, you're not diagnosing, you're throwing parts at it and it hasn't corrected the issue. Did you really need those parts? So stay tuned on the mindset you have to have when you're coming into diagnosing. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric. If you didn't already know it, yes, this is the weekday, Monday through Friday. Today is Monday, July 20th of 2026. Where most people get it wrong, and this isn't to get down on anybody because I've gotten it wrong so many times, but that's how we learn, right? But if you watch the videos that I put out, I try to show you how you can test to find out what your issue is instead of just trying to get, a guy having a problem with the PTO clutch. So he went and bought a new battery, new seat switch, new PTO switch. But yet he hasn't tried anything to do with diagnostic, right? Your parts replacing. And that's the way it used to be done. I'll be honest with you. And I kept saying there's got to be a better way to put something in that sounds reasonable to test for everything. And there was. It's just not a lot of people were doing it and thought it was a waste of time. So I started doing diagnostic and I started looking at how much time I had involved compared to fixing, how quickly I come to the culprit versus throwing parts at it, and then the cost in the end for the customer, which was minuscule compared to all the parts that I used to fix first. So, what goes into getting you into a diagnostic mode? The mode is when you first encounter a customer, okay? And if you see the customer start the lawnmower up, drive it off his trailer, pull it up to the front where the repair shop is, and then come in and say, I'm having problems with the PTO not engaging correctly. You're not going to rush out there with a compression tester, spark tester, and dump the fuel and check the air breather. Pretty much it ran, you watched it come off the trailer, and the chief complaint is not start and run, it's the PTO clutch. So that's where you need to start. You need to just clear your mind and listen to what the customer's chief complaints are. You'll dig a lot of good golden nuggets out of what they're saying. You have to learn how to figure out what layman terms are, but I mean, if you've been doing it for 20, 30 years, you know exactly what the customer's telling you, right? And so in that case, when I get ready to go out and do a diagnostic on that, the compression tester, spark tester, the fuel issue, and the air filter take a back seat. I mean, I saw it start and run. It seems like it runs good. So I'm not going to waste time doing that. And you're going to say, but you thought this is how we do diagnostic. Yes, if you're having a no start, no run, or hard running, that's when you tackle the 4 point on that engine. But if it's out here and it's affecting the PTO clutch, we need to really sit down and think what could be causing the PTO clutch to be having issues. Well, one, it could be a bad PTO clutch. They do go bad. And you're going to say, yeah, but how do you know? And that's when you get your multimeter out and you test that clutch. And if it tests between 2 and 4 and the bearings spin free, you should be golden. If it's below that or above that, then you probably got problems in there. Okay. But that's the first thing I do is I check with the ohm meter part of the multimeter. I'm looking to see where it's at. Okay. Now, that's where I start. I rule out the PTO clutch right off the bat. I've seen PTO clutches where the belt would be just. There was one such case where a customer said every time he engaged PTO, it killed the engine. And what had happened was with electric PTO, your belt that goes through the deck and around, it doesn't start spinning that deck up until you pull the PTO switch on, right? In the spring of the year, mostly because it sat all winter long, and even worse if it sat on dirt floor. Don't let it sit on dirt floor, guys. But it's gonna rust up. And I've seen belts wedge themselves right into the V pulleys so tight that it's almost like they're welded. So the minute you hit the PTO switch, it's enough resistance it kills the whole engine. And a lot of times what we do is we before we start my machine up in the spring, I get underneath it and I turn all the blades, check all the spindles, make sure the belts are loose in it before I crank it up. So I mean it could be just as simple as there could be a chunk. We had one that had a chunk of wood in the deck holding one of the spindles where the mower blade and the deck, that's where the block of wood was, and it wouldn't allow the blade to spin. So it would kill the engine. Once we got it up on to where we could look underneath it, voila. You're missing a piece of firewood, it's in your deck. So the logic is you go where the complaint is, okay? And you're not looking to see if the key switch is any good or, yada yada yada. You're focused on the chief complaint, which is the PTO clutch. Now, it could, as I'm saying, it could be a number of other things that aren't even related to the PTO clutch, and that is the belt stuck in the pulleys, block of wood inside your mower deck underneath, or it's jammed one of your blades in there. It could be a setup pulley, a V or an idler pulley on that deck. Could be a spindle going bad, the bearings going bad in it. And the one way to check that is to undo the belt to the deck and engage it and see if it still takes and kicks the engine on. There are a lot of safety switches on modern lawnmowers, okay? And the idea is if you have one that's faulty, like a seat switch, if it's faulty and it doesn't sense that you're sitting on the seat when you go to pull the PTO, it will shut itself down. It won't come on. It'll either won't come on or it dies. One or the other. And that's just a fail safe so that you're not going to get hurt if you're not on the mower and little kids on it, what have you. So if you're over here with the PTO clutch and you're diagnosing that, there are tests and checks that you can do to fine tune it. Is it a safety switch that's screwing me over, or is it actually maybe the wiring harness, the whip coming down, and getting some fresh black tape out and retaping the whip, getting it so that it's not able to touch the frame? But I guess what I'm getting at is when you're doing the diagnostic, you're not concentrating on other areas that have nothing to do with the PTO clutch. I eliminate as I go. The first thing I'm going to eliminate is the clutch. The second thing I'm going to eliminate is the power coming from the PTO switch down to that clutch. Am I getting a solid 12 volt? Does the voltage drop? If it drops, then the holding power of that PTO clutch is going to lessen and it's going to start slipping. And if you get into taller grass, your mower blades come to a stop or a slow turn. Now, on some clutches that we know, like the Agoras, they are adjustable. They're the triangle ones, and air gap are really tight. But if you take and you think it's the clutch that's slipping, you can turn the three nuts down the same amount. Mark it, do one complete turn, and on all three of them, and then install it back. See if it makes a difference. I've seen where that does. With the other style, it's pretty much a throwaway. And there's this day and age when it comes to PTO clutches, you can buy them for under $100. You know, the tens, but there's a lot of good companies out there that give a 1 year warranty with their parts that you can order and have it shipped right to your door. And I can tell you right now, you can do it. But if you're not sure how it goes, take a picture before you start tearing it apart and make sure that when you put the new clutch back in, that the bracket is in the right place and you bolt it down so that it doesn't free spin and do circles and rip the whip right off from it. I've seen that happen before. But no, when you're listening to the customer, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer and you're trying to figure out how to diagnose something, what are the chief complaints? What is it that's got you baffled? Or what is it that your customer is telling you that is plaguing them? Because, like I told you, there's a lot of golden nuggets in there. And you need to fight the impulse of just fixing. Fixing, does it work? Once in a while. Every lucky dog has its day, you know. But what I found over the years is we were wasting a lot of the customers' money on parts that they didn't need, simply because we didn't do the 4-point. And then I started looking at, okay, working on PTO clutches. Is there a way to test them? I found out how to do that. Is there a way to test the harness coming down? Yes, I found out how to do that. It all comes with time, guys. The more willing you're wanting to learn something, the better it is. If you close yourself off and you think you know everything, that's when you stop learning and you know nothing. Me, I can't thank you guys enough on this channel for helping me with the education that I've got. A lot of times I tell you it's supposed to be a two-way street, but I still think I'm getting the better end of the deal because I'm streamlining a lot of the processes based on what you guys are saying, how you're running your shops. It all depends upon the situation. If the engine isn't the issue and it's something else, the deck, the PTO clutch, the hydrostatic transmission, if it's something else other than the engine is running fine, we don't need to do that 4-point on that engine. If it's spitting and sputtering and having issues, yeah, I'm going to do it. But, a lot of times we have customers say, come pick up our lawnmower, we want you to service it. And case in point was last Friday. The lady said that her daughter gave her a John Deere zero turn, and could we pick it up and put a new battery in it and give it a service? And when we got there, it wasn't a John Deere, it was a white. Hind tires locked right up, tighter than Toby's, you know what. We had to winch it onto the trailer. That's something that I would have drove by on the side of the street and not even giving it a second thought about, no, I ain't stopping picking that thing up. There's a limit to what you should be willing to put into a customer's machine. And I know with this one, Claude's got it turning over. He was going to grab some carb cleaner yesterday, see if he could get the fire up. But it's in need of a lot of parts and tires, and sometimes the owner thinks they've got a great machine, and you're looking at it, and you can only put so much lipstick on a pig, guys, and it's still a pig. The reason the daughter, I mean, I'm starting to think that her kids don't like her that well, giving her this thing. So I'm going to start wrapping this up, guys. The main thing, I guess, what I'm trying to get across to you is everybody has the impulse to try to fix first. And if you're in the fix it mode, you're in the expensive mode. Whereas if you're in the diagnostic mode, and this is especially to you do-it-yourselfers at home, there are ways to test stuff to eliminate it so that you're not throwing, good money after bad. I On my PTO clutch one, I don't know how many people said they went out and they bought a new PTO clutch and it didn't change anything. When we were selling a lot of PTO clutches, that was one of the things that we ran into, and that's why it was in my description, is please do not order this unless you know for sure that your PTO clutch is bad. But I guess most people don't know how to use a multimeter. It's just simple. Just own the clutch and see if it's any good. But what ended up happening, we send the clutch to them, and then the next day we get a message back saying they wanted to return it because it didn't solve the problem. No, they're parts replacing on my dime. And we finally drew the line in the sand and said, it's electrical. You hooked it up. We're not taking it back. Bad way to be, but there's no reason why I should have to pay for someone else's parts replacing. So on that note, put in the comments what you think and what your mindset is when you try to go at something. Do you have the impulse to fix, or do you try to diagnose it first? You guys enjoy your Monday.